Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well because it is tutorial time. This is Michael with Strange Shapes coming back at ya another week. Today we're doing this kind of acid punk melting tidal effect. We're getting real weird with it. It's a lot of fun. This is a super easy effect to make, you guys. It doesn't take long at all, and we're just gonna add a few adjustment layers on top of it to get some cool effects going. This will be a fast tutorial. Let's jump in, have some fun, make something weird. Okay guys, here we go. So first thing we're gonna do, hit new composition as always. We're gonna label this one text. Again, I'm using 4K resolution, but feel free to do 1440p or 1080 if you're more comfortable working with that. Frame rate's going to stay at 30 and the duration is going to be at 10 seconds long. So once all that looks good, you can hit OK. And then we're going to come up here to the text tool. Go ahead and click that. Click anywhere in the frame and write out whatever you want. I'm going to type in melted for obvious reasons. Gonna go over here to align, make sure that looks good. If you don't see the align tab, you can come up here to window, make sure that's checked off. And I'm gonna scale it up. So if your anchor point's kind of off, you can just come up here to the pan behind tool, hold down Control, double click it twice, it'll center that anchor point. So I'm just gonna scale this guy up, make it nice and big, make sure it's all aligned. Cool. And the font I'm using is Belby1SC. That's a mouthful. And that's something that I will include in the description below. Once you've got that all nice and situated, we're going to come over here to the Create a New Composition button. We're going to click that guy and just title this one Main. And then we're going to come down here to this panel. You're just going to right click, go to New, Solid. I'm just going to label this one BG because we want to add a background. It can be any color you want. I'm opting to go with black this time around. Then you can drag in the text comp on top of that. You should see it nice and big right there. And the first thing we're going to do is just make sure that the text comp is selected. Hit the P key for position. We're going to alt click that stopwatch to set an expression. And I'm just going to type in wiggle, open parentheses, 3,5, close parentheses. This is just to get kind of that wiggle, that VHS kind of jitter, just to add a nice little subtle effect to the text. I'm going to turn this down so it'll render faster, just to show you guys, see how it kind of bounces around. Cool. We just want it to move a little bit. From here, make sure text is selected again, go to Effects and Presets, and we're going to type in CC Scale. We were looking for CC Scale Wipe. Let's go ahead and double click that guy to apply it. And then make sure that the timeline is at the very beginning, just like that. And we're going to come up here to the stretch parameter. We're going to click that stopwatch. We're going to move the timeline all the way to the very end. We're going to change that from 0 to 24. Now, if you did that right, this should look just like this. Your text should be pretty distorted, which is good. We're going to fix that in a sec. This is what we want, but not quite at the angle that we want. So we're going to come up here to the direction and type in 180. And now it should be going straight down, which is perfect. Now before we move on to more effects, we're going to make sure that this layer is selected again. Hit the U key so that you can see the keyframes. I'm going to select both of those keyframes and hit F9 to easy ease them. Or alternately, you can right click on those once you have them selected, go to Keyframe Assistant and hit Easy Ease. F9 is just going to be a little faster. So with those selected and easy eased, I'm going to click this button over here to the graph editor. We want to open up the speed graph. Now if yours doesn't look like this, go ahead and right click in here and make sure that you're on edit speed graph because you might be on value graph. But all that we want to do in the speed graph is select this furthest right point, click and drag it down just so that it looks something like this. We want it to kind of start up slow, build up, peak early, and then even out. So as long as it looks something like this, that's good, because now, yeah, we're getting a slow melting effect. And then we can come over here, we can close that guy, and we're going to add another effect. So then come back up here to effects and presets. Go ahead and type in liquefy. You can double click that. So before we do anything with this, we want to come down here to the timeline. We want to move it forward so that we can actually see the melting. Yeah, just somewhere like that, maybe around 2 seconds. And then what you want to do is come up here to warp tool options under liquefy. Now, depending on your resolution, you might have to tweak the numbers a little bit, but I'm going to bump this up to about 200, make the pressure around 70. So this makes the brush wider, and this is going to make it pull more of the pixels, the effect forward. If you make it lower, it's not going to have as much of an effect. Actually, I'll just show you guys. So this is 70 right now. If you click and drag, see that effect? It's pretty strong. If you move this down to like 20, click and drag, doesn't do nearly as much. So we want a higher number, but feel free to mess with it as much as you want. Now, if you do click on these, you won't see the brush anymore, so you can just hit this little top left button right here to bring it back up. And then I'm just going to drag this a little bit across just to make something kind of weird. Yeah, cool. You can get crazy with this. I had a ton of fun doing this while I was making the tutorial. You can make all kinds of different kind of waves or liquid melting effects, so get wild with it. But this is where we're going to be for the sake of the tutorial. And so once that looks good, that's all you got to do on that effect. We're going to go back here, again, make sure that text is selected, come back to effects and presets, and we're going to add what is quickly becoming a very common effect that I'm using, CC Gridler, because we like that CRT effect. We like it. We're going to make the horizontal scale 50. We're going to make the tile size 1, and boom. It already should be looking like a screen. That's all you got to do on that one. So again, make sure text is selected, come back to effects and presets, and lastly, we're going to add a wave warp to this guy. Now let's change some of these parameters. So we're going to keep the wave type at sine. We're going to make the wave height 3, the width 100. We're going to make the direction 0 so that it's vertical. And then the speed, we're going to make it 0.5, so it's a little slower. All right, and now you should see something like this. Cool. And boom, guys, that's the gist of the effect. Like, that's it. We're already done, basically. Not really, because I still got some more stuff to show you, but we could be, so pretty fast, I told you. Anyway, let's make this look even cooler. So we're going to come over here to this panel. We're going to right-click, go to New Adjustment Layer. We're going to call this one Chromatic Glow. Sounds like a band name. I'd listen to them. But anyway, we're going to come up here to Effects and Presets again. We're going to add Quick Chromatic Aberration, which is another great effect. It's free. It's a plugin, but it's free. I'll include it in the description below as well. And we're going to tweak this guy a little bit. So before we do anything else, go back down to the time frame, make sure it's back at the beginning. We're going to click that position stopwatch under transform for the quick chromatic aberration. And then go ahead and make sure that's selected and hit U just so that we can see the keyframes. We're going to make it start at 10. So you get a little bit of that off color effect. Perfect. We're going to move the timeline up to 1 second. We're going to make it 20. Yeah, it gets a little more extreme. Move it to 2 seconds. Bring it back down to 10. And then under this position stopwatch, we're going to alt click it to add another expression. We're just going to type in loop out, enter. Just like that. You don't need to put anything in the parentheses, just have it blank. And now what that's going to do is have that chromatic aberration fluctuate in and out. Again, we're trying to get a little bit of a messed up VHS effect here, like a deteriorating tape. So I think we're doing a pretty good job so far. Awesome. So next we're going to click that chromatic glow layer again, come back to effects and presets. I'm going to type in deep glow. Now you guys can use a normal glow for this. I love the glow that deep glow provides. It's a great plugin if you don't have it. Unfortunately, it is not free. It's not very expensive, but it is not free. But man, if it's one of the plugins I would recommend the most. It is a great plugin. But yeah, you can use the normal glow, you just might have to tweak it a little bit. But as far as deep glow goes, I'm going to bring this radius down to 250 and the exposure to 0.20, just to give it a nice kind of screen glow, but nothing too intense. Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to come back down here. We're going to close that chromatic glow layer. We're going to right click in this panel again, go to new adjustment layer. This one we're going to label Fractal Noise, and then we're going to add, you guessed it, Fractal Noise. It's going to look crazy for a sec, but we're going to fix that. Up here in the parameters, let's go to Dynamic for Fractal type and Block for Noise type. We're going to make the contrast 380 and the brightness negative 220. And then we're going to come down here to the evolution parameter. We're going to alt click that stopwatch again. Man, we're doing that a lot this tutorial. And we're going to type time asterisk 1500 and click out of it. And now what that's going to do is give us some of that nice static. That nice retro static. Sweet. Now you won't be able to see anything else until you go over here to mode. If you don't see mode, there's a button down here you can hit. That'll toggle it. You want to see mode, you want to go to screen. And you just want that for the fractal noise layer. Because now you'll be able to see it and the rest of the effect. Cool. Next, what we want to do is come back to this panel, right click, go to new adjustment layer. We're going to make this one called blur. And then we're going to come up here to effects and presets. We're going to add Gaussian blur to that. Double click it to add. And I'm just going to make that blur about 20. Nothing crazy, but we don't want it to be perfectly in focus. Again, the resolution on VHSs were like never great, and we're kind of going for the VHS effect here. And we are almost done. The last thing we're going to do is come down here. We're going to right click the panel one more time, go to adjustment layer. We're going to label this one noise. We're going to come up here to the noise, type in noise, I'm sorry, and then double click that guy. We're just going to add like 15%, nothing crazy. You don't even have to add the noise if you don't want to. It helps with the colors sometimes. Also, since we're doing glows, make sure you come over here. You might see 8 right there, and just alt click it to change that color depth. You want at least 16 since we're working with glows. So it'll get you better colors, make it look prettier, all that. But guys, that's about it. The full effect should look something like this. Boom. Pretty solid. Some additional little things I had fun making too is if you make another adjustment layer, you kind of want to set that below all the noise. Add a colorama effect. Whoops. One, it's going to look absolutely wild, but if you go to the presets, you can kind of play with these a little bit. You can make it look even more kind of like acid washed or retro. There are some pretty fun ones around here. So that's a good way to like kind of play with it. You can make some weird stuff. And if you do find one you like, yeah, that's cool. But what you can also do is make another adjustment layer. Type in hue/saturation, add that. You can bump that saturation up a lot, and that'll affect the colorama layer even more. So it might be too crazy. I had fun playing with this, so get weird with it. Again, I love making these outlines for y'all to just kind of take it home, make it crazy, do what you want. But all right, people, that's the effect. That's it. We did it. We're done. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. But seriously, that's it. I hope you had fun. This was a lot of fun to make. It was pretty interesting. I like the effect a lot. It was kind of unexpected, but I think it turned out pretty dope. So, as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. It seriously means so much to me. I love making this stuff for you guys, and the fact that you're watching it means that I can continue to make it. So, let me know in the comments what you think about the video. Let me know if you ever want me to make anything, if you have any ideas or any concepts that you don't truly understand or want to walk through, we can go through that. I'm just here to have fun, make some weird stuff, and help you guys out. So, but that's it, you guys. That's it for this week. I would love to be able to make videos more often than once a week, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to. But thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope that everybody has a great week. So, love you guys. See you next time.